before the world celebrates a champion, before a single player lifts football's greatest prize.
Every legend begins with absolute purity. We begin by verifying the 18-karat gold certification for the 2026 FIFA World Cup Trophy. Precision is non-negotiable. Each gold bar is weighed on a high-precision digital scale, accurate to 1,000th of a gram. Complete traceability is maintained. Every gram of gold is recorded in a secure production database. To guarantee the 18-karat standard, we use X-ray fluorescence, XRF, to analyze the elemental composition of the raw gold. Before melting begins, the graphite crucible is thoroughly purged using high-pressure air to remove even microscopic contaminants. A thin layer of insulating powder is then applied to ensure a smooth pour and protect the integrity of the crucible. The crucible is carefully centered inside the induction furnace, the heart of the entire melting process. The gold bars are placed inside with great care. This is the raw material that will soon become the most coveted trophy in world football. A precisely measured amount of pure copper is added to the mixture, giving the 18-karat alloy its signature strength and rich golden color. The furnace is sealed, and the water cooling system is activated to protect the powerful induction coils. The temperature is calibrated to exactly 1,064 degrees Celsius, the perfect melting point for this legendary gold alloy.
Power on.
The induction heating process begins, vibrating the gold molecules until they reach a molten state. Through the protective viewing window, we witness the first stage of transformation as the solid gold slowly responds to the intense induction heat. The gold reaches its critical temperature, glowing a brilliant cherry red. As its crystal structure begins to collapse into a softened state, the metal undergoes an extraordinary transformation. Moments later, the gold completely liquefies, becoming a dazzling pool of molten sunlight. A high-purity graphite rod is used to gently stir the molten metal, ensuring the alloying elements are evenly distributed to achieve perfect structural integrity. Borax is then introduced into the melt. Acting as a flux, it binds with oxides and draws impurities to the surface. With meticulous precision, the slag and surface oxides are carefully removed, leaving behind the purest possible form of the 18-karat gold alloy. While the molten gold remains at its ideal temperature, we review the three-dimensional engineering blueprints of the 2026 FIFA World Cup Trophy, ensuring every millimeter of the new design has been perfected. The physical journey begins with a high-resolution spherical master model, precision machined using advanced CNC technology to capture every intricate detail. Under intense white inspection lighting, every curve and texture of the globe is examined for microscopic imperfections before production continues. Strategically positioned wax rods, known as sprues, are carefully attached to the model. These channels will guide the molten gold into every intricate section of the mold. Every weld is inspected for maximum strength. The connection between each sprue and the base must be flawless to prevent turbulence during the casting process. Once the wax assembly is complete, it is securely mounted onto the rubber base of the casting flask, marking the final step before the mold is created. A heavy industrial steel flask is carefully lowered over the wax assembly, maintaining a precise safety clearance between the model and the flask wall. High-grade refractory investment powder is mixed with distilled water under strict weight ratios to guarantee maximum structural integrity. The mixture is placed inside a vacuum mixer for 5 minutes, producing a perfectly homogeneous investment free from trapped air. Negative pressure removes even the smallest microscopic air bubbles that could otherwise damage the final surface of the trophy. The liquid investment plaster is slowly poured into the flask, carefully surrounding the wax model from the bottom upward. A vibrating table ensures the plaster settles into every minute detail of the trophy's complex geometry. The investment is then left to harden in a controlled environment, transforming from liquid into an exceptionally strong mold. Once the investment has fully hardened, the rubber base is carefully removed, exposing the wax sprue that will serve as the pouring channel. The mold is then placed inside a computer-controlled burnout furnace, where it is gradually preheated to eliminate every trace of wax. At 300 degrees Celsius, The wax begins to melt and flow out of the mold, leaving behind a perfect negative impression of the trophy. The recovered wax is collected for recycling, completing the dewaxing stage. The furnace temperature is then raised to 750 degrees Celsius and maintained for 8 hours, burning away any remaining carbon residue while strengthening the mold for the casting process. Inside the high-capacity furnace, the investment mold reaches its maximum structural integrity, eliminating every microscopic organic impurity. Precision is non-negotiable. An infrared thermal scan confirms that the mold has reached the exact temperature required for casting. The glowing red-hot mold is quickly transferred into the vacuum casting chamber, minimizing any temperature loss before the pour begins. Inside the induction furnace, the 18-karat gold has now become a perfectly molten vortex, ready for its transformation. The moment of truth has arrived. A steady stream of molten gold flows into the mold as gravity begins the casting process. The vacuum pump is activated, creating a powerful suction that pulls the liquid gold into every intricate detail of the World Cup Trophy design. For 2 critical minutes, vacuum pressure is maintained to ensure maximum metal density and eliminate internal air pockets. Once the vacuum cycle is complete, the mold is carefully removed and left to cool naturally in open air for 30 minutes, allowing the crystal structure of the alloy to stabilize. The cooling process ends with a dramatic thermal shock. The mold is suddenly immersed in cold water. The rapid temperature change instantly fractures the investment shell. Under the immense pressure created by thermal expansion and contraction, the hardened plaster disintegrates, revealing the treasure hidden inside. The raw gold casting is carefully lifted from the broken mold. For the very first time, the iconic shape of the 2026 FIFA World Cup Trophy emerges in solid 18-karat gold. A 150-bar high-pressure water jet is used to remove every remaining trace of investment material, exposing every detail of the 2 figures supporting the globe. The raw casting is then placed inside an ultrasonic cleaning bath, where high-frequency sound waves remove microscopic particles from every intricate surface. The excess gold channels, known as sprues, are precisely cut away, separating the trophy from the casting tree. Every gram of precious gold is carefully collected. In the world of master goldsmithing, nothing is wasted. A rigorous visual inspection confirms that the raw casting perfectly matches the official 2026 master design. To reveal its true brilliance, the trophy is immersed in a carefully prepared diluted acid solution, dissolving the dark oxidation layer formed during casting. A neutralizing alkaline bath immediately stops the chemical reaction, protecting the integrity of the 18-karat gold alloy. After a final rinse in deionized water, a stream of pure nitrogen removes every trace of moisture, preventing oxidation before the finishing process begins. Now securely mounted on a multi-axis rotating platform, the trophy enters one of the most delicate stages of production, hand refinement. Master craftsmen use precision Swiss-made steel files to remove the marks left by the casting channels, creating a perfectly clean silhouette. The fine seam lines where the mold sections met are carefully blended using specialized precision tools. The proportions of the 2 figures holding the globe are examined and refined to achieve perfect anatomical symmetry. High-speed rotary engraving tools bring the design to life, sharpening the definition of the muscles, contours, and textures. Every continent on the golden globe is sculpted with surgical precision, defining the world map with absolute accuracy. The mirror finish process begins with 320 grit sanding to level the surface. The process continues with 600 grit abrasive, removing deeper scratches while refining the overall shape. Finally, 1,200 grit wet sanding prepares the metal for the final polishing stages. Under a microscope, every surface is examined for microscopic gas pores or imperfections that could affect the mirror finish. Using 18-karat gold wire and advanced laser welding technology, even the smallest defects are carefully filled without compromising the surrounding metal. The excess material from the laser weld is meticulously ground and blended until it becomes completely invisible. The base is then machined perfectly flat, providing a flawless foundation for the iconic malachite rings that will complete the legendary FIFA World Cup Trophy.